Hi, I'm Olga Hawn. I'm the faculty director for the Center for Sustainable Enterprise at UNC's Kenan-Flagler Business School. I'm also an assistant professor in strategy and entrepreneurship and a distinguished sustainability fellow here at UNC. Today, I'd like to talk about why I'm optimistic about sustainability. So I know many people confuse sustainability for just environmental issues, but in fact, the way the field now defines sustainability is much broader. So sustainability is not just about environmental issues. It is also including social and governance issues as well. And as you can see from the news, if you ever open the news, companies around the globe face lots and lots of environmental, social, and governance issues daily. And with the help of social media, they're coming to the attention of managers and executives in these firms much faster than they used to. So when I go to conferences or when I engage with practitioners, they usually ask, should I respond, and if so, how? And actually, they mentioned that not being in the news is an underrated strategy, and it is a deliberate choice by companies. So I guess I would like to tell you a little bit about my current research that kind of addresses this question. And it is mainly with the help of big data that we're actually able to answer these questions. So in the more recent research with Rodolphe Durand of HEC Paris, as well as Yanis Yan of LBS, we actually managed to collect this humongous data set that took a lot of work to put together. But essentially, we actually have data on all environmental, social, and governance issues. You can see on the slide that it involves a wide range of issues from forced and child labor to local and global pollution and other governance issues, as well as the cross-cutting issues like supply chain. And so we managed to find a match on those issues. Essentially, we had companies being criticized on these issues in one data set, and then we matched it to another one where we could follow the actual actions of companies on these issues. And so we could see how do they respond to being criticized. And the criticisms come not only from the traditional media, but also from social media and a range of stakeholders. So we had both the NGOs and the government criticizing firms, as well as simple social activists and bloggers, all bundled together in this data set. And so what's interesting about it is that we could actually observe the actions of companies that were directly criticized or were directly hit by this criticism in the media, as well as those that were not criticized, but they were in the same industry. So they were observing their competitors being criticized largely in the media. And so we could actually see, okay, do the firms that are not being directly criticized, do they react in any way preemptively so that they're not criticized later on these issues? And we also could see, okay, if the focal firm is being criticized, does it matter how many issues is it being criticized on and the degree of its response? And so this is reason number one, why I'm optimistic, is that they seem to care and they seem to respond more substantively the more issues the focal firm faces, as well as the more peers in its industry are being criticized on these issues. So that is one of the important takeaways. Of course, the boundary conditions, if you look at these issues, for the first time, we could actually categorize them and see, okay, does it matter? Does the scale of the issue matter? So is it small scale or large scale issue? Is it local or global in its extent of the impact of the issue? Is it independent or more interdependent? Because lots of sustainability issues actually interrelated. And so by solving one, you're actually addressing another. And so this categorization is also important. And also finally, does it involve primary stakeholders, such as employees, shareholders, customers? Or does it involve secondary stakeholders, such as the community and the environment? And so what we find is, of course, companies are boundedly rational. So first they respond to those issues that are local in nature, small in scale, independent because they're easier and less costly to address, and also those that involve primary stakeholders, which makes total sense. We also look at the actual reach, coverage, and extent of or severity of the criticism in the media. And so, of course, the more attention in the media, so the larger coverage the issue gets, and the focal firm as well. More severe criticism, as well as greater media reach, such as sources like the CNN and BBC versus some blogger in some forgotten country. So essentially, we do find that those also matter to their responses. So firms respond more the more issues they face, the more their peers get criticized on a particular issue, and also the more media reach, media severity, and coverage that these issues get. So what that means essentially for us as social activists, as those trying to essentially accelerate social change, is that continue criticizing firms. Even if you're a blogger, it still matters. The more attention you draw to this issue, it might get picked up by more traditional media, and it will actually grasp attention of the firm. Also for companies out there, I mean, they are being strategic in which issues they address. Obviously, they cannot address all of the issues out there, so they do select what they focus on. And so this dynamic is also, I think, at least for me, gives some optimism that our criticism seems to work.